I'd like to welcome everybody to Science Olympiad's STEM Expo Week. My name is Sherry Haug, and I am the Elementary Director for Science Olympiad. If you're not familiar with Science Olympiad or Elementary Science Olympiad, we're a national organization dedicated to improving the quality of STEM education in grades K-12, and we have a lot of options for schools and families to make that happen. You can learn more about the elementary program at soinc.org/programs/elementary. This year, during our STEM Expo Week, we decided to include some fun programming for our elementary students. We've invited ChessKid, who will show us the correlation between STEM and chess. However, even though we've marketed this presentation to our elementary students, it is 100% appropriate for anyone in the family interested in chess. And I'm pretty sure anyone watching tonight will walk away with something new. And don't forget to sign up for the free trial ChessKid when the presentation is over. On that note, I'd like to introduce Mike Klein, an American FIDE master and chief chess officer at ChessKid.com, the scholastic extension of chess.com, where kids know him as Fun Master Mike. Mike Klein began playing chess at the age of 4 in Charlotte, North Carolina. In 1986, he lost to Josh Waitzkin at the national championship that's featured in the movie Searching for Bobby Fischer. A year later, Mike became the youngest member of the very first All-America chess team and was on the team a total of 8 times. In 1988, he won the K3 National Championship and eventually became North Carolina's youngest ever master. In 1996, he won clear first in the top section of the World Open. Mike has taught chess full-time for a dozen years in New York City and Charlotte, with his students and teams winning many national championships. He now works at chess.com as a senior journalist and at chesskid.com as the chief chess officer. Welcome, Mike. We appreciate you being here tonight.
Thank you, Sherry. That was quite an introduction. I didn't know you were going to read my entire bio, but
you're pretty impressive. You're pretty impressive.
Thank you. Thank you to Science Olympiad as well. And I see in your background, you have a national tournament. We have a national tournament in chess as well. So welcome to all the kids and the parents that are watching. Chess is such a cool game because it's one of the few things where kids and their parents can compete on an equal footing. So I know I started playing my dad when I was 5 or 6, and he insists that he won his last game against me when I was 8. Not so sure about that. But in any case, we are trying to make chess as popular as a lot of other things that kids learn in school, music and art. And of course, there's a lot of connections with STEM, a lot of connections with science and math, even some art. In fact, STEM is kind of funny because it actually came up in a YouTube video I was watching today. So I want to tell you a little funny story about something that happened today. I was watching a video on 2 pilots that tried this stunt about a week ago. Maybe you saw it. They actually had their planes turn upside down and they jumped out of a perfectly functioning airplane. And their job was to try to skydive and switch airplanes and go inside the other airplane and land in each other's other airplane. Now, why am I telling you this story? Well, they brought this idea to the FAA and they said, hey, can we do this? And the FAA said, no. No, the FAA said, not only is it dangerous, but we're not going to learn anything by you doing this. This is a true story. They went back to the FAA and they said, no, it pertains to STEM education. We're actually going to be able to show this to kids. And then the FAA said, okay, you can do it. Now, unfortunately, I'm not a pilot. I'm not a skydiver, but I am a chess master. So I'd like to talk to you a little bit about ChessKid and how it pertains to STEM. I'm going to share my screen. And let me see if I can blow this up into slideshow mode. There we go. I hope everybody can see my screen, even though I'm in slideshow mode. If you're not able to, somebody maybe let me know. So there we go. Chess is STEM. And there's actually an even more important story about people that were mathematicians and chess players, one that's much more important to the world. In fact, it was a group of English chess players that broke the code to the German Enigma machine in World War II. It's an absolutely true story. The English national team was playing at a tournament in Argentina, and somebody from England called them on the phone and said, hey, you got to get back to England. We need you for the war. And they actually were the ones that helped decipher the German Enigma machine. They broke the code and they helped the good team win World War II. So, you know, chess players have been involved in a lot of stuff that are mathematically based and to help the world out. So what is ChessKid? Why do we exist? What are we? Well, we're a website for learning the game of chess. And on ChessKid, everybody is safe. So the kids out there, you may not care too much about this, but the parents that are watching, our number one goal is safety. So kids can't chat to each other. They don't view advertisements. They can't make random friendships. There's no way that anything improper can happen with kids. ChessKid is also a place where kids can learn and they can play chess whenever they want, which is a huge advantage because when I was growing up, my mom literally had to drive me to my friend's house. We might play a couple of games and that was it. That was all the chess for the week. Nowadays, you can go on ChessKid, you can play with another child from somewhere around the world that's a roughly similar level to you, and you can get a lot of games in, which is why I know Sherry said that I was the youngest North Carolina chess master ever, which is true at the time, but there's been like 10 kids to break my record since then, which is not surprising because they're able to just acquire information so much faster than when I was a kid. There's also all kinds of fun things like puzzles and videos. And when you get an account at the end of our presentation today, you'll be able to see all about it. Well, what are the benefits of chess? You can see a whole bunch here. A lot of parents already know things like critical thinking, cause and effect, risk analysis, things like that. One of the ones I really want to focus on for the parents that are in the room is in the bottom right, accountability. You know, a lot of kids, they go play team sports, right? And they win or lose as a team. But when you compete in chess, or even if you just play on your own, it's all you. All the decisions are yours. If you get in a tough situation, it's up to you to dig your way out of that situation. It's up to you to figure out, well, you know, how can I be responsible for this move I made? How can I overcome it? How can I learn from it when the game is over? That's a huge one. I find that a lot of people that grew up playing chess, they end up doing pretty well in life, especially when faced with any sort of adversity. Now, of course, kids don't know that they're learning all of these things. They just think that they're playing a game. So are there any, I've just been told there are some kids listening. Sorry, kids, you're actually learning. You thought you were playing, but you're actually learning. I guess the secret's out. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're actually going to look at some actual chess. And this is the time where kids and parents that are watching, you actually get to participate. So I'm gonna switch my screen share. Apologies while I do a little switcheroo here. And we're gonna go on to the actual ChessKid website. Okay, I've actually created a brand new account just for our presentation today. I call this account STEM Noob. That's the actual name. Okay, kids like to use the word noob, right? Newbie. Okay, not a bad word. Okay, now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna open this up to the chat. But you know what? Before we start taking questions, you're probably already gonna type in the answer anyway. Let's use some scientific thinking. Let's use the scientific method to figure out what's going on here. Okay, well, first of all, we need a question, right? The question is, what does black do? It actually says in the top right, your move, you're black, okay? You have to find the best move, okay? Now, we also need a hypothesis. Well, I will go ahead and tell you that when you're first getting your ChessKid account, which you're gonna get at the end of our presentation today, you should mostly look for forcing moves, which are checks and captures, okay? So I hypothesize that it's gonna be a check or a capture, okay? Then, of course, well, normally we have materials, right? ChessKid's your material, and hopefully you have a mouse, okay, and power and internet. Okay, you have all that. Okay, now we need to test our hypothesis. We need to analyze later on if it works. Now, luckily, we're only doing one move here today, right? Okay, but if you're playing an entire game on ChessKid, you would want to analyze all of your moves, okay? And we have some winners in the chat, okay? They barely even need to hypothesize. They sound pretty sure. So I think that Lalitha got it right first, but Sana got it right. Isaiah, you put a question mark after your answer, but you were right. In fact, Isaiah did one better. Isaiah put all of the moves in because Isaiah recognized that the first move was not checkmate. Now, if you've never played chess before, don't worry. You're going to learn a little bit today. And when you get your ChessKid account, you'll learn even more. Now, these are the rooks, okay? And you can see when I touch the rook, the website even gives us a little bit of a help and shows us all the places the rook can move. Rooks can move up and down and left and right, north, south, east, west, and then go as far as they want. Now, the goal of chess is to checkmate this guy, the king, the guy with the cross on top, okay? The guy that I'm wiggling right here. And so what we can do is move our rook all the way up to the square C1 if you want to use the letters and the numbers of the chessboard. And if we do that, the king will be in danger. But the king will not be able to walk down the board because pawns actually capture diagonal. And in chess, you can't leave your king in danger, okay? So after our rook moves here, the king also can't go left or right because the rook will just get him. So the only thing that white can do is move the rook back. I think of check as kind of like dodgeball, right? When someone throws the ball at you in dodgeball, most of the time you try to move out of the way. But if you can't, you should try to block, right? Grab your best friend and put your best friend in the way. No, just kidding. You're going to need a new best friend if you do that. Okay. In any case, the king couldn't run away. We put our best friend in the way, but now the rook can just capture, as Isaiah has told us, and that is checkmate. Okay. Now, again, if you go through the ChessKid videos, we go very slowly. We have one video, just how the rook moves, just how the king moves, just how the pawn moves. We have a video just about check, just about checkmate. So we're going a little fast today, but I can already see by some of the people in the chat that you can handle it because you're chess players. Okay, let's do a couple more on this account. And then, because I see we're basically 3 for 3 in the chat, that I might move on to a more advanced account just to see how you do. Okay, so go back to the scientific method. What's the question? The question is, what's the best move for white? Well, again, I'm going to hypothesize that it is a check or a capture. Those are the most forcing moves in chess. When you put someone's king in danger, check, they have to get their king out of danger. It's required. It's the rules. It's not maybe, sometimes. It's not like your parents saying, clean your room, okay? Maybe you follow the directions, maybe sometimes. But in chess, you have to get the king out of danger. So in this position, luckily for us, there is only one check, okay? Judy, you're the winner. You got it right. Sana, you're 2 for 2. Lalitha, you got it right again. Ivan, not sure how to say your name. I'm going to say Ivan. I'm going to go the Russian way. You're right as well. By the way, there was 2 captures in this position. You could capture this pawn or this pawn. And in truth, both are good. I did not mention that the queen can go up or down, left or right, or she can go diagonal. You probably already figured that out by the dots on the screen. We can capture this one. A pawn is nice, but you know what's interesting? In chess, when you see a good move, you should look for a better one, okay? Just like, I don't know, in science, if you see a possible answer, you might want to repeat the experiment to see if it actually was the answer. Well, in chess, you can't really repeat your move, but you can look for alternate explanations. And here, if we take this pawn, unfortunately, our queen, well, unfortunately for black, the king cannot move anywhere because our queen aims at all of the squares, and the 2 rooks also stop the king from moving. Now, my next term I'm going to teach you is probably only for the adults. In fact, it's probably mostly for the moms. So if we have any moms watching, and I hope we do, this is called the epaulet mate. And yes, it is the same word as the fashion term epaulette, right? You've got the 2 epaulettes. Now on ChessKid, we just have these polo shirts, right? We don't do fancy stuff, okay? But if we did, and I had some epaulets on my shoulders, it would make more sense. Okay, kids, you're going to need to ask your parents what an epaulette is. These rooks are the epaulets. They stop the king from moving. Okay, and actually in real life, epaulets are quite nice on a shirt, but in chess, an epaulette mate means your rooks are actually getting in the king's way. So that is checkmate. Good job to everybody. Let's do 1 or 2 more, and we're going to do a more advanced account. Okay, now this is actually quite interesting. In this position, as black, it kind of looks like our rook. Remember how rooks move up and down, they go left and right. Okay, our rook can capture either white rook, either one. But actually, let's do a little hypothesis here. Let's test our hypothesis, okay? If our rook comes over and captures this rook, can anybody type in the chat what's wrong with that? It looks like a free rook, right? Rooks are worth like 5 in chess, like $5, okay? Now, some of you are typing in the right answer, which is awesome. But notice I'm asking a different question. Why is taking this rook not going to work? Yeah, I think Sana explained it well. And I think, let me see, who is that? The chat's moving fast. It looks like Ridik also understood. And Isaiah, you understood too. If our rook captures the white rook, we'll be opening up our king to the other rook, and you cannot move your king into check or do anything that lands your king in check. In fact, the funny thing is, remember how I told you that the website is always going to tell you what the legal moves are? Notice in this position, it's not putting in any sideways dots. It's only putting in the up and down dots, okay? So in this position, you can't capture because you'll be in check with the other rook, but you can capture this rook, which a lot of you were already guessing, and that is check. Oh, but wait a minute. When the computer moves, that's actually a good thing because it means your first move was right. And now we have to find the follow-up move. So this is already getting harder. And by the way, this is the exact design of the website. As you get puzzles right, then the website raises your puzzle rating, and then it makes you do harder puzzles. And a lot of people like Riddick and Sana are typing in the correct second move. Our other rook comes over for checkmate. By the way, this rook would not be giving checkmate because the king can capture it. Kings go one square. So we're going to move this rook, and that is checkmate. Okay. You guys are doing so well, guys and girls. We are going to switch accounts. Okay, so give me 1 second here. I'm going to do a couple of things that are going to go so fast, I don't even need to explain them. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. See, I was called STEM noob. I don't know if you noticed that. Okay, and I'm going to go down, and I've created another account just for today, and that's STEM Master. As you can guess, we are stepping it up. Okay, we have a much higher puzzle rating on this one, and this is actually what ChessKid looks like, by the way. Okay, I'm going to go to puzzles and do some more puzzles. Okay, I'm going to do one more feature too. Let's do one or two under the STEM Master account. Okay, so we are white in this position. It's going to be a much harder puzzle. I apologize about that, but frankly, you guys were crushing the easier puzzles. Okay, so here we go. We are white. Now the hypothesis becomes much more difficult. In fact, we can't even really hypothesize that it could be a check because this is the black king and there are no legal checks. There are no ways to go after that king. Okay, so I'm going to hypothesize it's a capture. Okay, now if we start testing different captures, like if our queen takes the rook, well, the other rook will take our queen, or the black queen will take our queen, or the black pawn will take our queen. She's in triple trouble. Let's not put her in triple trouble. Okay, if we take this pawn, then the pawn on c7, the one right there, okay, can capture our queen. That's not going to work either. I'm actually having some trouble. I'm having a lot of trouble. We could capture this pawn, right? And that actually is a free pawn. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you some things I know about the website. I doubt that the correct answer is only a little pawn. Okay. Now, sometimes I teach chess and I have kids say the same thing. And they're like, Fun Master Mike, that's what the kids call me. It's only a pawn, which is true. But a pawn it's like $1, right? Not a lot of money, but if somebody offers you $1, you'll probably say, yes. How did this Snickers bar get in my hand? Snickers did not pay me to say that. Some of you have already figured out there is a stronger move. The queen and the rook are in the perfect spot to both be attacked by a pawn. Isaiah got it right first, but Riddick and Sana also got it right. If we move our pawn 2 squares, pawns can go 2 squares on the first turn, thanks to a little rule they invented 500 years ago. This pawn is aiming at both the rook and the queen. And I actually don't think there's a way that black can save both. So we're going to win something much larger than a pawn. You guys are awesome. Okay, the queen ran away. Of course, the queen's more powerful than the rook, but we still get the rook. And look at that. We just gained 5 rating points. By the way, if you hadn't heard me talk the whole time, if you answer puzzles faster, you actually get more points. So I'm sorry that I'm so long-winded and I talk so much. We could have raised our rating even more. Let's do one more and see how it goes. Okay, so we are black. We are black. And in this position, we're actually losing by a knight. Chess players are actually able to count pretty quickly. Both players have a queen, right? Both players have 2 rooks, right? Both players have a bishop, right? But white has 2 knights. We only have 1. By the way, white has an extra pawn as well. Okay, so we're down a knight and we're down a pawn. In this position, I don't see a way to check the king except if we play queen takes bishop. But then white's king can take our queen. And by the way, we haven't talked about knights at all, but knights go 1-2 turn. So the knight could also get our queen. But you know what? Chess is a lot about pattern recognition. And in chess, whenever I see a king and a queen, I'm just kind of wiggling them. Kings don't actually move that far, okay? I'm just wiggling the king and the queen. If we see them both on the same up and down line, that's like lightning bolts going off in my head. And some of you you've got the same lightning bolts. They say lightning doesn't strike twice, but wherever you are in the country, it's striking right now because you figured out if you put your rook on the square e8, the queen can't run away because as we've talked about a few times today, that would be check. You can't put your own king in check. So we're actually going to win the white queen. It might cost us a rook, but we're still going to do better. In fact, the computer just gave up there. It gave us our 5 points. And the cool thing about ChessKid is you're all going to have your own accounts. You're all going to be solving puzzles at your own level. And if you get a couple wrong, it's okay. The website will then give you some easier puzzles. If you get a bunch right, it's going to give you some harder ones, right? Everybody finds their own level. One more quick fun feature. If I go to puzzles, if you need a little more excitement in your life, you can go to Puzzle Duel, which is like puzzles after a lot of coffee, or your kids, so after a lot of Coke. All right, if I click on play, it's going to give me another kid somewhere in the world to play. At least I hope it is. Okay, I hope there's more kids playing Puzzle Duel. And then what you'll actually do is you'll play kids and you'll both get the same puzzle. And it's a race to see who can solve puzzles the fastest. Now I've got a brand new account, so it might have trouble when you first create your account trying to find an opponent for you. Not exactly sure. Oh, it found someone for me. I'm playing Loud Joyful Guitar. By the way, don't ask me to play guitar. I'm not very good. Now, I've got to solve puzzles super quickly, and I'm the green power meter, okay? So if you're rooting for Fun Master Mike, we want that green power meter to fill up before our opponents. So I'm making a lot of moves that are good that I can't really explain too fast. That's a checkmate, by the way. This is checkmate. By the way, you should probably only do Puzzle Duel after you've done a lot of regular untimed puzzles, because the action does go by pretty quick. Now, if you notice this bishop way down here and this queen way up here, they both team up on this pawn, and so that's a checkmate. Okay, now this is going to be actually easier than I thought. I thought it was going to be checkmate in 2 moves, but if my rook moves here, that's checkmate in 1. And now if I get one more right, I think I win. Let's see, pawn takes bishop is what we call discovered check, because the rook doesn't move anywhere. The pawn moves out of the way and the rook discovers it's aiming at the king. There we go. Fireworks. Everybody's happy. I just won that puzzle duel. I solved the puzzles faster than my opponent. By the way, we both had the same set of puzzles. Okay. If you looked at the bottom right of the screen, you can see what puzzle my opponent was trying to solve. So that's pretty cool. By the way, you can challenge your friends in Puzzle Duel. You can also challenge your friends by playing a real game. So if I go over here to play versus kid, and I want to play a game, I can pick how much time I want the game to take. And there are, I don't know if you can see up here on your screen, there are 716 chess kids all around the world playing right now. It's, I don't know, 8 a.m. in Australia or something. There's probably some Australian kids. You won't be able to chat to your opponent, but it is kind of neat. You're going to be playing kids from all over the world, and you can also play your friends. There is a way to do a direct matchup with your friends. So pretty cool stuff. All right, now what we need you to do, we need to make sure that you enjoy the summer of fun on ChessKid. I've got one more screen to show you, so I'm going to stop that. And if you'll excuse me while I do a little switcheroo, and I just have to find, where did my presentation go? My presentation went away. I don't know where it went. Okay, but it doesn't actually matter, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it in the chat, which is the most important thing. In the chat, we have a link that you can use to get a free gold membership and unlimited membership this summer on ChessKid. We're going to have events all summer. Some of the events are going to be just for you as part of Science Olympiad. Some of the events are going to be for the entire world, of which Science Olympiad kids can compete. And the first one is actually going to be on June the 5th. First live tournament on ChessKid is going to be on June the 5th. We're also going to do things like we're going to look and see which Science Olympiad friend solved the most puzzles throughout the summer. Okay, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's a great thing to do. If you live anywhere close to where I live, it's going to be 100 degrees every summer. You're going to want to stay inside on a couple of days. So make sure that you click that link. And if you're watching this video after the live event, I know the people are watching live are like, what? This is live, this is now, this is my life. But we are going to put this video on some other places where it's not going to be live. And there's going to be somewhere on the screen, we're going to put the link for you to get that free ChessKid Gold membership and enjoy chess this summer. So again, kids, I'm sorry that we're tricking you. We're making you learn through a game, but it's also fun. It's a great way to get smarter, use your brain well. And for any adults out there, I'm sorry if your kids start beating you. We do have some videos on ChessKid about how to beat your child. Mostly the answer is to quit your job and practice 8 hours a day. So I'm sorry about that too. But anyway, thanks so much for joining us tonight. And I'm going to send it back to Sherry for some more comments.
Wonderful, Mike. First of all, I am just a little bit of a chess player, so that was so much fun. And to see not only your head moving so fast, but the kids that were in the chat, their thoughts moving so fast, that was exciting too. So thank you very much. We appreciate your time. We appreciate the fact that you've come into this STEM Expo with us and in this exciting week of our national tournament. So kids, don't forget to sign up for your free membership. And thank you so much for joining us, and have a great night, everybody. Good night.